Hello and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am Stacy Hendry here with Daryl Moss and Lucy Diana. And the three of us are the Synergy Three. We collaborate together and our mission is to spread vibrant health through group wellness programs focused on the mind, body, and spirit. And today we want to talk about making healthy swaps. So we all know that every bite you take is either fighting disease or feeding it. And we hope to teach people to spend more time on the path to the left. Does that mean you'll never have a slice of pizza or a hamburger? Absolutely not. But spending most of your time on the path to the left is what is going to give you optimal health. So today we want to talk about some swaps you can make to take the path to the left. So I'm going to start with breakfast, which is a kind of a challenging meal since it's very bread-based. But here's a bagel, which is really nutrient deficient. Even though sesame seeds do have some health benefits, you're not getting that many on this bagel, and you're not getting any other nutrients from the bagel itself. So switching to an oatmeal breakfast does a lot for your health. Oatmeal is heart healthy. It's high in fiber, it lowers cholesterol, it reduces cancers, and by topping it with berries like you see, which are low in sugar and high in antioxidants, that's giving you a much more nutrient-dense breakfast. Throw a few nuts on there and some cinnamon, which is a great warming spice and good for your health. And if you're someone who eats a bagel daily, maybe try to switch in one day a week to have some oatmeal. And along with your breakfast, many of us are coffee drinkers. Coffee is very important to buy organic. The reason why it is very highly sprayed with pesticides. Not only that, the processing for conventional coffee uses toxic chemicals to process. So by buying organic, you're not getting the toxic processing and no chemicals are added during roasting. So for something that people drink daily and sometimes a couple of cups a day, it is really important to go with organic coffee. And Lucy is going to talk a little more about coffee.
So did you say coffee, Stacy? And how many of you and how many of you stop at Starbucks or wherever else you get your morning cup of joe? And so I love this topic that we have today because it's an eye opener for all of us. So let's look at the first picture here. Can we get a healthier option at our favorite cafe? So the first one we see here, it says brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. Now I don't drink coffee, so these are all new to me, but so 120 calories is the regular recipe, and they're already choosing oat milk, which is a healthier option. And so they diminish the calorie content simply by having less brown sugar in their coffee. So that's 120 calories going down to 60 calories. I'm going to challenge everybody out there, and why don't we skip the sugar altogether? Why do you need a brown sugar? You can do maybe a little bit of honey. Honey is still a sweetener, but it's healthier. And I love now the second picture, the Frappuccino example. So a regular Frappuccino has 61 grams of sugar. Seriously, on any of our programs, we'll teach you, we don't want you to have more than 20 to 25 grams of sugar a day, added sugar a day in your diet. So this is no bueno that there's 61 grams in one Frappuccino. What is a healthier option? What about coffee with some coconut milk? So anyway, that's a little bit of thinking for all of you out there enjoying your Frappuccino. And we're going to move on to the next slide. where I'm going to talk about yogurt and yogurt with fruit at the bottom. Compare that with a Twinkie. Which do you think has more sugar? Well, guess what? A Twinkie, not that I say you should be eating a Twinkie, has 18 grams of sugar, and the Dannon fruit on the bottom has a whopping 24 grams of sugar. That's crazy. In one sitting, 24 grams of sugar, when I just said that we don't recommend more than 20 to 25 grams for the entire day. And if you could do less, even better. You can see how easily you can get to an overload of sugar in your diet per day. And we know that too much sugar is a driver for a lot of dis-ease in the body. What is a healthy swap? What about just some plain yogurt? May not sound as exciting to you right now, but let me tell you, it is delish. And you can add your own fresh fruit. And again, if you want to sweeten it with a better option, you can put a little bit of raw honey, 100% maple syrup, a little bit of vanilla, cinnamon. There's so much you could do. So I'm going to pass it on to Daryl because she's going to speak to us a little bit more about sugar.
Thanks, Lucy. So more on the sugar topic and more on the coffee topic. For those of us who do drink coffee, the vast majority add some sort of sweetener. So we all know that real sugar, even though it comes from a plant, really has no nutrient value, and eating too much sugar in whatever form during the day, as Lucy and Stacy have said, leads to a whole host of downstream medical problems. And we have an epidemic of obesity and diabetes in this country, and sugar is a big part of that. So what do we do instead? There are alternatives. So those little packets on the left, and I didn't put pictures of all of them in there, those are all made from, there's some sort of chemical component, either partially or completely, in all of them. And stevia, which is on the right, comes from there's an actual plant called stevia. And you can get stevia in liquid form in a bottle that is and all of these are sweeter than natural sugar, but stevia has no added chemicals. It has no added anything if you buy the pure form, and it has 0 calories. And you only need a very little bit because it's so sweet. But all of the other ones have something else attached to them. So Sweet and Low is made with saccharin, and you can have like serious allergic reactions to that. And anybody who's allergic to sulfa drugs really should not be using any Sweet and Low. I mean, I don't think anybody should be using any of these. Equal and NutraSweet is in the green packet, are made with aspartame, and that aspartame also has been linked to all sorts of diseases, including cancer, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, dysbiosis, etc. Splenda, which is marketed as this natural product because it's made partially from sugar, is actually also made with chlorine. So who wants to be putting chlorine on purpose into their bodies? So it's, we really need to be careful about what we're using. So if you actually want to check the labels, you'll find out a lot of interesting things. Stacey, can we move on to the next slide? So I didn't mention monk fruit. So this is the back of a monk fruit bag on the left. Monk fruit is another natural sweetener that comes from plants. The problem is that when it's processed to a form where you can put a spoonful in your cup of coffee, it's hard to read this because it's so small, but you'll see it has erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol in it. So we really need to be careful on what we're using. In the middle, this is the back of a package of packets of stevia. But when it's put in powder form, that means it's already been processed. So anyone who's worked with us knows that we do not believe in processed foods if you can help it. And as you can see, the only ingredient is not stevia. Maltodextrin is not what we want to be eating. And you're adding other things to your body that you don't need. This is the back of a label of a stevia product that has alcohol in it. So you really need to read your labels just like you do on anything else. The stevia that I showed on the first slide is just pure stevia. So again, we need to know what we're using and what's going into our bodies. And one thing that's also really important to understand is that we at the Synergy 3 are trained in functional medicine, and we are all about the microbiome. And a lot of these pastel packet products have been shown to actually interfere with our gut microbiome and can actually increase, change how we process sugar. It can affect our insulin levels. And a lot of people have a mentality, well, if I don't put sugar in my coffee, then I can get my sugary sweets or my junk food or something someplace else. So it's really important to understand what you're eating and how it might be impacting your body. So I wanted to talk about another product that also has a lot of sugar in it that we don't normally think about. So this is probably the most popular ketchup product in the country. And who doesn't love ketchup on their French fries or on their hamburger or whatever they normally would put it? Regular ketchup is from Heinz, is made with high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup, which are not healthy sweeteners. And according to Heinz, a serving is a tablespoon. And in there, and so let's go to the next slide. I want to show you something else. So Heinz has an organic version, and they make this with, they sweeten it with cane sugar, which is definitely, if you're going to have a sweetener, healthier than high fructose corn syrup, because fructose is harder on the liver than regular sugar. But both of these, the way Heinz calculates their serving sizes, a serving size is a tablespoon. And in both of these products, there's 4 grams of added sugar. So Lucy was talking a few minutes ago about grams of sugar in other food products, in Starbucks coffees and in yogurts. 4 grams of sugar is 1 teaspoon. So if you hold up a teaspoon and a tablespoon and you realize there's a whole teaspoon of sugar, of added sugar, I'm not talking about the sugar from the tomatoes, which is naturally occurring, but added sugar, that's a lot of sugar that we're adding to our hamburger or whatever else we're eating. So that's something to think about. To skip the sugar altogether, there are other products out there, and this is just one. And if you look at the back of this label, there will be a slight percentage of sugar because that comes from tomatoes. Tomatoes are very sweet, but there's no added sugar in the product. So something for all of us to think about as we decide how we're going to use our condiments on our food. So there are always other options. We could put some hummus on our burgers. We could put some fresh ripe avocado on our burgers if you're eating burgers. Or you could use salsa, which is another great treat. So those are a few swaps for the day. I wanted to tell you guys that we have an amazing upcoming program. Our next round is, we're in the middle of our 3rd round of our Slim Possible Weight Loss Challenge. Registration is closed for October, but it's still open for our November program. And this is a fabulous opportunity to learn about your body, to eat unbelievably healthy foods, add in great lifestyle modifications that we all have time to do, and lose weight in the process. It's an incredibly supportive program. We're with you every single day. We have live calls every week, and our participants are doing amazingly well. They see progress right away, as soon as they start with us. And if you want to stay in touch with us and know what we're up to, we have a whole an assortment of ways you can do that. You can always go on our website, www.thesynergy.com, like our page on Facebook, and then you'll see what's happening. Come almost every Wednesday, we have a webinar just like this. And if you miss us live, you can always follow us on YouTube and see them there. We're happy to offer any new clients a free discovery session, so you can contact us at thesynergy3@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us individually if you know how to reach us, and certainly share with other people in your life what we have going on. So thank you for joining us today. and we will open this up for questions in just a moment. Lucy and Stacy, anything else you'd like to add? I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. I said subscribe below. So we
Oh, sorry.
people. And I did want to just say something. I didn't calculate how many teaspoons are in that Frappuccino. And I'm saying, wow, 15 teaspoons.
Right. And if you measured that out and you put it in a clear glass or in a baggie, you would be grossed out. You would never normally eat that. I mean, it's,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
But don't forget to subscribe below.
right. Thank you for reminding.